Hello and welcome to Loot from 10 Hours of Learning Hard Mode Sanctum of Rebirth. Sanctum of Rebirth is a brand new dungeon released today that drops brand new tier 95 dual wield magic weapons, being Roar of Awakening and Aid of Deceit, that have a pretty nasty spec, which I can't wait to get my hands on. Along with that, there is also a new scripture book, a new prayer codex that boosts the damage of all combat styles. Along with those items, surprisingly to me and about everyone else playing the game, there's a brand new item called Shard of Genesis Essence, which is the first of its kind, which upgrades tier 95 weapons by 5 tiers, making them tier 100. Which is the first this has ever happened in RuneScape, and I'm so excited to try these out. This is going to be a quicker edited video, but will include a rough guide to help anyone learning, along with everything else you might need to know. But do note that this is recorded literally day of release, so things might change and not be 100% accurate. Starting off, you will need to do the brand new quest, Soul Searching, which you can see me doing in the background. Takes about 5 to 10 minutes to do roughly. But once it's done, you can unlock normal mode and use the boss portal to get to it. Although I spacebarred through the quest, the island that you'll unlock to start the dungeon does look fantastic, so props to the art team for that. Now, getting into normal mode Sanctum contains the exact same bosses as hard mode, but normal mode is quite a bit easier, and also have different death mechanics, allowing you to revive up to 3 times. But this does come with the caveat that it is a lower drop rate for the rare items, and you also have no access to the Shard of Genesis Essence, which is pretty massive. Some examples of the differences are things are slower in normal mode, allowing you much more time to react. Hits are quite a bit lowered, so you have a lot less chance of getting KO'd, and monsters' HP is slightly lowered. It took me about 35 minutes to run through the normal mode for the first time. I was massively de-rusting at this point, so I haven't PvP'd for a while, nearly a year actually, so this was really good practice. In general, this is just really good content. Even the normal mode is pretty top tier. It's really enjoyable. Even for normal mode, you can really see me trying my hardest here. There is so much going on, even just for the normal mode. There's lots of movement. There's lots of just watching what the hell's going on screen. You'll see me probably die here soon, but I just want to show you. Oh, and this is called the Sand Shadow or Shadow Sand. I instantly died to that, so then I had to restart. I was pretty frustrated because I had no idea what to do at this point. I'm just pointing all this out just to make sure you understand, like, if you're learning this for the first time, there is going to be a lot to understand, and you will die a lot, and it's perfectly fine. Once I finish normal mode here, I'll dig into the hard mode, and I'll do a step-by-step guide on that, but I really just want to show progression of normal mode here. It is difficult, even for normal mode. There's some people that probably got it first try. Actually, I bet there's no one that probably got this first try. It does take a few times of just trial and error here. Just not a lot of things are communicated well. Well, they are. They're actually in the chat. So it's purely just a user error at this point. I'm not really reading the chat when I'm doing a boss. I'm dying thinking I understand what's going on, and I have absolutely no idea what's going on. I think this is the part where I finally get my first normal mode kill. I think I was in the shadow a few times, but yep, there's so much going on here. Now for hard mode. Hard mode took me, I think, 2 to 3 hours to get my first kill. It is exceptionally hard. I don't know a boss that I think's harder than this, other than maybe Solak. Solak is really, really rough. But man, it was fun. The first time I did hard mode and got the kill here, I was literally shaking. it is some of that. It's just that type of content where it's just really exciting. It kind of gets your adrenaline going. It is really difficult and it's really rewarding. The first boss I think's probably the easiest for sure. Um, it's pretty basic. Essentially, your goal is to just get poison on both sides, but eventually I did beat it, and then it was on to this giant dark beast thing. I think I died a few times here the first time I did on hard mode. There is a lot going on. You have to kill the side towers at the breakpoints in his health. Lots of zooming around, lots of dodging. This is where I think the more tile part that you have to dodge, that's also carries over into the final boss, is kind of started. Unlike the final boss, and I'll go into that more in depth later, you do not get cooldown back for dives when you dodge something. And here I am at the final boss. I actually was here for a while, and I make an oopsie, a very big oopsie here. I end up accidentally restarting my run, and I was super frustrated with this, but I use this as a chance to actually start the 10 hours and do everything from scratch again. So you will see that oopsie right here. At this point, I was a little bit tilted, but I know I need to do these bosses a lot and to learn more. So after almost 2 hours later, I finally got my first kill at the boss on hard mode. It took a very long time to finally get this, and it felt amazing to say the least. So I'm gonna cut into live commentary and see how it goes. Oh my god. Fucking did it. Oh. That's the stuff. Oh. Forget. Oh, I actually got it. Oh, I got something. I don't know what it is, but I got something. Oh my god, I'm gonna go and sell this to see what it sells for. So you will see that loot at the end. I ended up just going right back to try and get my second kill. I think this took me another 2 hours for the last kill to get. It's just hard. Almost all the times in the last boss, it's super punishing if you don't get down. So yeah, it was a journey to say the least. I did use necromancy for the whole 10 hours. I don't actually think it is the best style. It's just kind of the easiest to learn and get back into after de-resting. And there's my second kill. Only 20 seconds faster, and I go in for the loot. Let's see what I get. No fucking way. Second kill. Oh my god. At this point, it's pretty safe to say I was completely speechless to get this. This was the second kill in back-to-back to say as well. Like, I was so clueless. I knew this item was going for a load. At this point, I actually thought I didn't pick it up. I was so confused where it was, and I saw it in my inventory. But yeah, this item I instantly chucked in the GE to see what it'd sell for. Initially thought 7 bill. I was like, let's try 8 bill. And it insta-sold for 11 bill. I only got 10.7 bill after taxes. But this is the biggest drop I've ever gotten in RuneScape ever. That is stupid. 11 bill in a single item. I cannot even describe how I was feeling at this moment. It was amazing. I I instantly went back. This is where I'd love to tell you I was getting super consistent kills and I wasn't dying all the time, but you're just seeing the ending of the kills right now. Some of these kills varied between like 20 minutes to sometimes an hour before I get another successful kill during the middle. So I didn't record the third kill, but this is the fourth one. Well, would you guys be mad at me if I told you I got another shard? Because I'd love to tell you I got another shard. But let's see what I get instead. Also at this point, I'm slightly improving. 7 minutes is still not insane or anything like that. And, yep, nope, no shard. Yeah, if I got another shard, I could imagine the comment section based on my Zamrock video telling me how spooned I was and how everyone else has gone like 500 kills dry without a single drop. But yeah, I could end this video right now and be insanely happy with my 11 bill cash stack that I have now. Um, I just want to show that there's also a lot of other random drops you get here. If you're going for, I think, Master Quest Cape and other things like that. This is something that you're going to have to do along with Trim. So at this point, I think I get some collection logs. Oh no, this is just my 10th kill. Oh, there's the book. But yeah, at this point, I'm at 10 kills. Nothing too fancy, and that's what I was after, the Tomb Raider achievement for getting all the lore books from the bosses. I did also get one more drop in the 10 hours, and that is the Scripture book. I ended up keeping this because it doesn't really sell, and I kind of am curious what it does. So I kept it so I can use it later. So now I want to go into a more casual talk through of my kills for each boss. So you can go ahead and skip this part if you don't want it. It's going to be super casual. So for the first boss, I'm going to go through all of them. But for the first boss and every other boss, I always start by going towards retreat instantly. And then right when I enter the boss arena, this is where I want to do all of my prep. All of them allow you to just go in, throw down your conjures without starting the fight, and you definitely want to do it inside instead of outside. If you do it outside, your conjures will be stuck and do jack shit in some of the rooms. So just go in first, then do all the prep, and then go from there. So the first part is pretty easy. The only thing you have to worry about if you take too long is you have to move around at some points because he will start doing ice attack. Below you, it'll target kind of your area, but as you see, I'm way over here, and it's still targeting where it was. It's pretty forgiving, so just move, like, every few game ticks or whatnot. Just cast ability, move one over, cast ability, move one over. Super straightforward. I'm gonna go ahead and next one. At this point, I'm just hard DPSing and trying to go through. You will see I get attacked from both the rangers on left and right side. So just be aware that if you're struggling a lot, just flash up range prey. You'll be fine. You'll see we go west side. So the way this works is it'll go middle, left side, or west, middle, east side, middle, and then you're done. On each one of these sides, you will have to gather these poisons, as you can see right here. So you just need to go into it. You can typically walk everywhere, but having bladed dive is pretty nice here, or dive in general, because it allows you to quickly get there. I also recommend not attacking anything if using necromancy or some combat style that pulls you in, because the last thing you want to do is miss one. If you miss one, you have to repeat this whole thing over again. Do not kill the coil spawns. It does not matter. They will just respawn, and no actual benefit to killing them. So just go there, heal, survive, gain some adrenaline, but make sure you grab the poison. You have to grab the poison, or otherwise you have to repeat everything all over again. If you don't grab the poison, you'll see attack right here where it's kind of like spewing poison or toxic stuff. If you screw up, just walk out of that. When that finishes, go back in, rinse and repeat. So at this point, just continue. Same mechanics as the middle. There is an extra mechanic though. In general, if you take too long, he'll do a giant bomb towards you, and you'll see this later on because I do actually die to it. But how you would handle it is use a defense ability such as Debilitate, Reflect, and then a Vitality Potion. That will get you through very, very easily. So just know that you can get other specs, but if you do enough damage, you can kind of skip them. So on the east side, you do the same thing that you were doing on the west. You just go ahead and get the poisons, go to the middle. You see me getting hit there. It does hurt. Mess up at all. At this point, you will see the scarab right here. So weirdly enough, you can actually block scarabs off by putting ice right here. It's a niche strategy. It's something you can do. Side effect of putting ice there is you also can't attack behind it. So what I would do, well, there's two things you can do. You can do what I tend to do, which is completely ignore it and just DPS through it, or you stun it, which you will see me here. I stun it, and then it allows you to kill it. Kill it here. I think at this point, that's what happens when you miss walk and at 4K. At this point, it didn't give a chat message, but it typically does right here. It did a ball attack that you can kind of see up here. This will hit you for like 7-8K or something like that. And you'll see me just get fucking. I just get smacked there. I have Ring of Death, so it really doesn't bother me too much. I can finish the last bit of health. But again, how you deal with that is just use defensive abilities and the Vitality Potion, and you're perfectly fine. And then you're good to go. Kill the boss. Alright, now for the second boss, I prepped the same way as the first boss. You kind of walk in. You will always do the exact same pattern every single time. So if you want to get it down, just know he is going to start with this first one, and it's always the same saying. So if he says this, it's always going to be pattern where the safe spots that you want to get to as soon as possible, or like so. And I always lean towards this area in general because the next one after is also going to be safe typically in that area. So that's what I lean towards. Then the next one's there. Pretty basic. You just want to go over. So this one's one of the easier patterns to get down. So yep, pretty. Now the attack after this every single time is going to be ice. The way you want to deal with the ice is, oh, I also want to state that you can tell when he's going to use an ability based on this bar right here. When this fills the full, he is going to use one of his abilities. He's also stunnable, so if you want to stun lock him a little bit to delay his abilities, you can. You see me using Dread Nips and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why I use Dread Nips is stun, but they also just free damage. So first one, I'm just doing damage. You see that bar above your head. When it first starts filling, that's your indicator that this is happening. So build with ice, and your goal is to fill the ice around you. Like I'm just killing one, so you can just target cycle. It has a little over 10k health, so typically one threshold plus a basic is good enough to kill it, or like a dark bow spec or something of that nature. It's not too bad. If you can't get out, you can use defensive abilities and neglect it. So just know that is an option. It does work on it. And it kind of rinse and repeat point. More damage, another spec. Okay, so this is a unique one. I say unique, and you can force it to do specific tiles. So the way this works is if you are not in melee distance of him, he will always do. Kea at this point, which is nice. You'll see me leave in this video, kind of force it in the next one so I instantly know what to do. So this one I want to run forward, typically like this square is what I'm after, and then that will force a more melee-ish area tile to be. So I'll use that, and then he'll do this one. He always does that if you go melee after. So he will always do that, so I always bladed dive or just walk in, and then I walk in, and then I prep Surge, and then I'll use Surge soon after. It'll get me out of that danger zone. And then after that danger zone, I have a few options. I can walk back in and force the melee one again and Surge, or I can wait a little bit and then bladed dive in, which is what I did there. So when it's this one, you can force it. It's either gonna be one out here if you're not in melee distance. If you are in melee distance, then it'll be close up. So just know that it's easy to predict. It may seem random if you don't realize what it's triggering it, but it's just based on where you're. So and then carries on. Do nothing special here. I'm trying to get the stage. I kind of want to explain this now, so I'll do it later. But this breakpoint and this breakpoint, the pillars become available to attack. These are a bit tanky. I think they're around 900 to 100k health. If you don't kill them, you will get there'll be a kind of like wall of flame that goes this way. That'll hit you for like 6 to 8k damage, and it can hit you twice because it hits you on the way there and the way back. There are ways to deal with that. I can show you some footage of that later. But your goal is to just kill the pillars if you can. That's another one that's pretty easy to handle. Again, I don't want to go over every single pattern because they're pretty basic, and really it does just come down to practice and getting used to it. I'll call it specific ones when I think of it. So, see me, I killed that pillar in a single down. It's kind of like the goal every single time. When this triggers, this means that this is no longer invulnerable. I mean, no longer able to be attacked. Up to this point, you can't even attack it. So, I'm just here trying to do as much damage as possible. It is something you kind of want to prep for. It's really hard to just hit if you don't have of your abilities available. And also, the conjures can get stuck around ice. So just acknowledge that. Try and keep your ice to the west and east, as the pillars are north and south, because they will just get stuck, and if you're using necromancy, that is a lot of your damage. So, I don't know if I'm expecting the beetles to come out next. Beetles plus pillars is a terrible combination. So if you're doing bad DPS, that's something to keep aware of. But same beetles as happened in the first boss, but they're a little bit more dangerous here. So your goal is to stun them, and then that'll allow you to do damage and kill them. Typically just a stun will kill them, and then you're good to go. If you don't kill them, they will hit like 6 to 8k damage. But you can... Oh, that's another thing. Right after the beetles or the scarabs, you'll see... Oh, I skipped right past it. The pain one. That's not too bad to deal with. So it goes beetles, and then you'll see it say pain. This one's probably the easiest to avoid because it's really slow. So the indicators are like right here even, but the damage is only right here. So just move out of it, really easy. Avoid. Next, just continue, rinse and repeat. It'll continue to do its abilities. Kayla, you see me do the exact same thing where I go into melee distance to force the melee one on the second turn. I believe it's ice next. Yep, ice next. Threshold, get out as possible. It's just rinse and repeat at this point. You're gonna want to kill the pillar. We're dying. And I don't think it doesn't get any new abilities at this point. Just know the longer you take for the pillar, the more it heals. But at this point, it's just damaging it and not dying. So nothing really changes throughout this fight. Now for the final boss. Same prep as always, go in and then conjures. Uh, she will always attack with magic at the start, and then every ability that she does that point on, she is going to switch. So she'll go from mage to range. So this first thing, I kind of stood in the wrong spot, if I'm being honest. So ideally, you want to step or kind of start in a spot like down this lane. Like right here is fine. Right here is fine. Because then you can just click over here somewhere in this area and then click back. Your goal is to just avoid the damage. I don't know how to describe this. It is slow. It has indicators. It is really slow and really behind the indicators. So I'll just show you just how far behind it is. I'm going to slow this down a little bit. Normal speed, so it's easier to going on. Oh, and also at this point, it is going to switch to range. You will see me use full split at this point because it does, when it's using its special attacks at the start, it doesn't attack with anything, so you might as well get some free. So you will see that just now this attack's actually coming after the indicator's all the way off, and then you'll see the next indicator. So your goal is to move over here, then when this passes, you go over here, and then this one will go right past you. This can change direction where you're at, or wherever you're at. So get used to trying to move, find those tiles that work well for you that are in between like blocks. But yep, so there, go here, and then also switches, or she switches to range attacks at this point. It's very clear which attacks are range, which ones are mage. So range is going to be kind of like arrow looking attack, where the mage kind of the ball that I can highlight again. Switch to it. So it's just kind of surviving, waiting for the next special. Okay, so the pattern of attacks is always the same. When you see this, this is gonna get you a lot at the start. When she says prepare for death, what she's saying is you need to use devotion and protect mage. So this is gonna hit you 3 times in hard mode and 1 time in normal mode for like 18k without any prayers. So it hits hard. Really, 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 really hard. So your goal, you really need to make sure at this point, always at the start, and almost always, you have good high adrenaline. Because if you don't have devotion, your next thing up is deflect and debilitate. And if you don't have either of those, a combination of the shield ability, I can't remember what it's called now, and residence plus eating a lot, and then also vitality pot. Those are all solid backup solutions. There's also shield dome, which you can use, and it's pretty solid, honestly. There's lots of ways to handle it. It's just hard to remember how to solve this in the moment because everything is super fast paced. This is light speed, so you'll see me use mage, pray, and then I did use devotion kind of late there, so I still got hit. So it's just continuing with attacks. You'll see she's doing another one. This is really fast paced. You really do have to keep up. If you do not keep up, you will just die. Okay, at this point, you see these 2 scarabs. Just like every other scarab within the dungeon, you have to stun them before you kill them. This first one has like 3k HP, and then this one has like 12k. I typically focus this one, the one in the back. The one in the back does not move, but if you do not kill it, it will explode and kill you. Put simply, it will just do a lot of damage. It does like 6 to 7 to 8k, I think, typeless damage. So just a simple stun will typically kill it. And then the other one will heal it. I believe the other Scarab actually has 15k HP. Oh, okay. And again, there's a lot of things happening at this moment. So you'll see her first time she does this, you always have some saying. I think it's always feel the power beneath your feet. When this happens, you need to get ready to bladed dive instantly. Or dive in general. You just have to dive. You have to be insanely quick with this in hard mode. And as all these indicators kind of show, you need to be in these safe areas as soon as possible. This is something you need to do literally instantly. If you do not do it instantly, you will die. In normal mode, you have a lot more forgiveness. In hard mode, it is quick. You have to do it insanely quick. So you see me, I'm bladed diving out of the way. I did a target, like targeted the other scarab, want to explode, stunned it, and then I switched to the other one. I will also be switching to Soul Split at this point because I know during this phase, when she does those tiles that do a lot of damage to you, she will not be attacking with mage or range. So I Soul Split because nothing else is going to reduce the damage that I can take at this point. So you'll see me target that one. I'm actually already in pretty good safe spots. There's some patterns for this, but I don't try and memorize it because it's slightly unreliable. Small note here because I forgot to mention it. If you dive correctly, you will get dive cooldown refreshed. If you do it too late, you will end up in a spot where you have no dive and the next one will happen and you won't be able to dive. So if you mess up on the first one, just sit there, take it, and then get ready to dive for the next one. You can kind of pay attention to like where she's looking, but that also is unreliable. Hopefully in the future that's figured out a little bit better. But yep, what I'm doing. At this point, it will cycle between those 3 or 4 abilities, where you have to deal with the kind of like the water going across or the toxic stuff going across, the scarab spawning, and also the big giant hit, the 3 mage hits that it'll do. I believe it should do next. Yep, so this is the second time it'll do it, and it'll rotate between the two. So this time I am Reflect and a Vitality Pot to handle this one. And I will cycle between that and probably pretty good across the board. It will still hurt. Still need to eat. See, I still took a crap load of damage from that, while also dodging everything else. So there is so much to focus on here. And then it's back to bladed diving and away. You see me biff that one, and so yep, it's just rinse and repeating. So you get about this health. This first breakpoint, I think, is when she starts doing the tiles that explode these things. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't matter what point of special attack you're at. You will always start the ones with the tiles that explode. So I am use deflect, dodge the next one. Alright, I'm just gonna skip through this part. Nothing really changed during this. It's just reacting fast, reacting to the abilities correctly, and moving around. There's more scarabs here. With them as best as I can. Okay, so now we have the next breakpoint. So at 480,000 health, she will summon the dogs. She will no longer keep aging you. Instead, she is going to be specials nonstop. Not the tile ones. She is just going to be doing this one, which is new. Pretty easy to avoid. Essentially, what you want to do during this phase is pray range or pray melee and stand near these dogs. The reason why you have to stand at melee distance is if you don't, you'll see that they will have a bar charge. And when this bar charges, she will start healing the dogs. So, and when your melee distance and this bar fills up, then they do a special, which, to my knowledge, they just disable your prayer. So you will see select prayer curses get turned off here. I don't know how well you can see that based on your player. So at this point, you just want to deal with them as fast as possible. I think they have about 100k health, 90k health, whatever it is. So you do have to deal with them pretty fast, because if you don't, they will get healed. So you see me kill that one. That doesn't happen every single time. Sometimes it takes times. Just know it will take some practice here. As you see that this is even triggered by him. This is just her healing them. So that's something else you have to be pretty careful of. I mean, we could go back. Let's see if there's... So her bar is getting filled from the special attacks. So when her bar is filled, looks like she says he healed, and all these heals will come in, and they will uber heal both of the dogs. So that's what kind of sucks about this, is if you don't kill them fast enough, they have 90 health, they will just heal. They really have to get these down, or otherwise you're getting a bit of time. But if you waste time, it's fine. Just make sure you don't die. Try and survive. If you don't stand melee, they will charge the middle, which you have to be melee or faster. Same, walk in between. That was the next super heal. So I'm here just chugging along, trying to do as much damage as possible. And when that is done, just avoid the remaining of her abilities and put into Sand Shadow, I think it's called, or Shadow Sand. That get dragged down from those dogs. Now this is the important part, or one of the hardest things to learn first time. When you get put in, always protect melee every single time. These guys and these guys will tear you up. Need to protect melee every single time you go down here, not soul split. While down here, you're gonna want to hit that storm thing that I just did. These will spawn 2 of these Shadow Sands felines that you need to kill. I use AoE, so I use Threaded Feet and just AoE them. While doing that, there's a lot of other stuff going on too, right? So we have these guys that I was talking about, and we have this. For hard mode and normal mode, when this time is up, you will be insta-killed. No matter what. You will just die. And then there are these guys. So, these are all things you need to pay attention to all at the same time. Maybe not so much this guy, just know that you need to protect melee for him. But you have to keep track of these. When you leave the Shadow Sands, you will be teleported up. I'll show you what I mean later. You will be teleported up, and you need to know which ones were down here, so you know which ones to not stand on when you get out. So, however you remember them is up to you. I call this one a sun-looking thing, and the other one is a beetle. So do that all while killing them. So you see me kill them. When you kill them, you will see these soul fragments spawn. There's 3 of them. There's one here, and one here. You have sometimes a lot more time than what you think to pick these up. Once you pick all 3 of these up, you will be teleported out, and you will no longer have access to see what these are. The tiles that you need to stand on, you'll have a 30% chance of guessing the right one. So I go up, I saw which one it was. It was, how my brain thinks is, it was this one I saw and this one I saw. So you want to stand here. This is where you need to stand. If you stand here or here, you will die. You will die. So let's see if I saw this correctly. Yep, so I search there. You'll see there's a message. This is the message I'm talking about. She's preparing to unleash a fatal attack. Protect yourself by standing on the hieroglyph missing from the Shadowlands. That is how you solve that. At this point, if you're standing here, you can just soul split. There's nothing else that's going to hurt you here soon. But there's very specific points I would stand for the next attack. You will see me stand right here, right here, right here, right here. All those are good locations. How I handle this is I think probably going to be the meta going forward is you will see right now she's not doing anything. She's charging her next attack. So as I'm standing here, we'll see this attack. This attack is scary, and if you don't handle it right, we'll just kill you. So I'm going to put this in slow-mo so you can understand what's going on. Alright, let me slow this down a bit so I can explain it better. Half speed. Half speed. So when she starts, she will put these other tiles on the ground. These are what is going to be hit. So what I do is I stand here, and then I walk either here or here. Only when you see this second tile get there. Like when you see that blue disappear right here, you walk forward. And then that'll avoid the damage. And then you walk back, and it's the same thing. It goes on, I mean, it happens really quick. So you will see me click backwards, right here. Doesn't really matter where, as long as it's in this general area. Click there. Back. Get ready to click forward. And then we're going to the same spot, somewhere over here. When this blue line touches this tile. Sorry, that's a lot of lines. It's the only way I know how to explain it. When it hits that, you walk forward. Alright? And then also, just make sure you keep your prayer up, because you'll be attacked with mage or range. It always goes mage, and then the next time you're up here, it goes range. Then you have to deal with prepare for death. This is the same one that you had prior to going down on Shadowlands, where you're going to have devotion. You will always have devotion up at this point, assuming you don't use it anywhere else. You shouldn't be using it anywhere else at this point. So pre-mage, devotion. And after this point, you need to get ready to use dive everywhere. So she'll use that attack, hold like normal, hit hard like normal, and then right after that it goes into tiles. Normal stuff, dive, constantly dive. I believe it does this 3 times, so it's 1, 2, and then the 3rd time. I'm hoping I know how to count correctly. After this point, it should be doing these. It'll do this twice. Just dodge this like normal. And then at this point, she'll also start doing the tiles again 3 more times. It's just dodging it. Playing it out well, reacting fast, and hopefully you don't screw up. Like, this is at half speed, and it's still kind of nuts to follow. And then after 3 times, you will go back down, and then it is the same thing over and over again. You go back down, same thing. Kill this. Also, while you're down here, this is a good time to just heal up, do everything you need to. Pray melee faster than this guy does. I almost got slapped because he's stupid and didn't pray melee. Do that. Through. At the end, I'll probably look at which hieroglyph or hieroglyphs I need to look at. So it's a monkey and some sun thing. If I remember it. Oh, my brain looks at that, goes here, sees here. What was not there? There was not a beetle. So you will see me bladed dive over there, beetle, and then it's rinse and repeat all the way to the end of the kill. So it's just hoping you don't mess up. If you mess up, you will die. That was a very long explanation of the final boss. There is a lot going on, but let me know if you guys hate this type of walkthroughs or like it. This is mainly just the quickest way I can explain it without going into full editing mode. So now time to get into the loot. The loot isn't bad, but it's not great. So some of the unique things, it does give the cursed sand, which is nice, and it also gives vital sparks. I only got a single one. I'm kind of surprised that I didn't get more. And it does give uncaught moonstone, which finally we have some other source of it, which is pretty good, and those will always be worth something. So it's not too bad. It's pretty dungeon or elite dungeon looking loot. So it's really not too bad. I'm not going to complain about it too much, but let's get into actually selling it. So typically how I do my videos is I just speed through selling everything. Anything that I kind of want or like maintains its value I typically keep. So all those alchables, I'll just throw in an alchemizer later and do a PC for it. I'll do 2 PCs, one with all the normal base loot, and then and then I have one final one with actually how much money I made with the rares and everything included. So the final price check came down to, I believe, like 50 mil in normal loot. Some of this stuff isn't selling right now, but I think is pretty valuable, like the Elder Wood Spirits. I didn't sell those, and the Cursed Sand, I also didn't sell that. It comes around to 50 mil. There's some other items in my inventory that I'm kind of missing. I'll add it in a second. And then with everything all together, all of my rares, it comes down to 11 bill, actually, which is pretty nuts. I was actually kind of sad to find out I couldn't just pull out all of my cash in my inventory to price check it, but because the max cash limit is still a thing in the inventory and not the coin pouch, I can't pull it out. But we made 11 bill from selling the original shard. So, and after taxes ended up being like 11 or 10.7 bill, a little over that. So with everything added together, it's just about 11 bill. Now I did spend a bit on costs and expenses, but I don't think it's even really worth mentioning, because even if I spent 1 bill in supplies, I would have averaged 1 billion GP per hour over 10 hours, which is insane. This is by far the highest, best money-making method I have ever done on RuneScape 3, and it is an extraordinarily fun boss, or groups of bosses, and I will definitely come back to this because it is fun. I might do 10 hours of normal mode. Let me know what you think. Also, just closing notes, I did only get 12 total KC overall, 11 of that being hard mode. With me learning this and it just being completely fresh content, that's why the kill count's so low. But I expect peak kills an hour to be around 3 kills an hour is what I'm expecting this to be. So in the future I could see 30 plus kills being done in 10 hours for sure, maybe even 40. So anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.